I'm Bobby Hoon, and let's queer up the USA view. ACT UP stages New York City die-in, protest HIV cuts, ICE funding, and war spending priorities. Activists with ACT UP marked the 39th anniversary with a die-in protest in New York City targeting Palantir Technologies over federal spending priorities. Dozens of demonstrators lay motionless on a busy Manhattan street Saturday, echoing historic AIDS-era protests. The action followed a larger rally in the New York City AIDS Memorial, with hundreds marching to Palantir's office in the Flatiron District. Organizers criticized government spending on immigration and customs enforcement and the U.S. war against Iran, while HIV care funding faces cuts. Eric Sawyer, the founder of ACT UP New York, who helped organize the protest, said, quote, "The Trump administration is spending more money on war than they are on healthcare. They are spending more money on ICE than they are on AIDS care. We think those priorities are way out of line with American priorities," end quote. Protesters also honored longtime HIV activist Mark Milano, who died in January. Speakers emphasized the continued need for in-person activism, even as HIV treatment has improved. Organizers said the protest is part of an ongoing effort to influence voters ahead of upcoming elections and push for policy supporting healthcare and social programs. Well, two things. One, Palantir obviously is very questionable they are essentially just a giant data depository and analytics company that wants to survey every American down to the minute habits. They want to know when you're taking a sip of water at minute. And secondly, I do not necessarily believe that the war in Iran and DHS funding has anything to do with AIDS funding cuts. I think Republicans are going to do it anyway because they always have an animus towards people who, because when they think HIV care, they do not think about, all they think about is basically gay. They don't really think about the millions of cisgender, straight, heterosexual people who also live with the virus. What they think that, HIV is, they still have that mentality from 40 plus years ago, where HIV equals you are promiscuous and therefore in their little puritanical single brain cell thinks that, that means that you should be punished. I mean, it's the same thing as the penal system in America. It's all about punitive retribution instead of actually improving the community as a whole.
Well, that's the thing. I think Republicans would cut health care whether they thought it was going to queers or to women or to just anyone. They cut health care for their own mothers. Let's just be perfectly frank. But also, I'm just so proud of ACT UP because there's this huge history of queer activism being more than just the centristy, pro-corporate, nice version of gay rights. It's no, it's nitty-gritty. It's yes, the war in Iran and the war crime that we're committing across the world are connected to not funding HIV in America. Because if you don't value human life, you're not going to value queer lives with HIV. And also, Palantir, that's a great one to go after because it's Peter Thiel's company. Am I right? For those that don't know, Peter Thiel is the gay antichrist billionaire. That anytime you see an awful company, he tends to have something to do with it. And I'm not shocked that ACT UP is going after one of his companies because he is a bad gay. He literally goes around and says the most awful things. He can't even confirm if the human race should be allowed to continue to exist or not. I would consider that treason in all countries, but that's just... Well,
actually, he literally tried to give a lecture series in Rome about Antichrist, about, he's
talking about himself.
You're saying that Antichrist will come if tech billionaires do not impose some kind of technocratic authoritarian regime.
Which is what the Antichrist would say. Antichrist would say.
My concern is that it has nothing to do with affordability. No. And that is the biggest concern for Americans every single day. I'm concerned about the privacy violations that Palantir can be committing, but also I'm proud of the folks with ACT UP, by the way. Shout out to New York City. It just reminds me of the failed attempt here in Florida with ADAP, the eligibility cuts, or, they were trying to reduce who's eligible to receive support under ADAP. And I do think it is all interconnected. And we do have to be aware of what these CEOs are doing, and we have to question it. Just because they put bright and shiny new toys in front of us doesn't mean that we should play along. We should question it.
It's not even a new toy anymore. We are now at the stage of the internet age where the toys no longer matter. Facebook has improved in ages, and neither has any social platforms. They are now simply just want us to use it, feed the data to them, and use it against the people who
they're dangerous toys now. Like Palantir has been accused of helping identify people to kill in other countries by other governments. The way they use drone technology, where drone technology can be used as a form of violence now, and companies like Palantir help program those things. Well, I don't want a robot to just decide one day to come after me, and I assure you it will.
And I think we all saw our First Lady walking down the runway with a robot. Was it yesterday?
Whichever, the Florida or the
she's encouraging robotics and helping complement children's education in our country. So
robotics, not that you don't take pictures of children and send them to the central database of Palantir can parse it. And also, and also this is we are actually late into the game. China, authoritarian China. The People's Republic of China has been using mass surveillance to target Uyghurs, the Tibetans for ages.
And I think it's interesting. I think we're walking a tightrope with being in the world arena as United States. And yes, we have to keep our eyes wide open. But it's interesting in reviewing this story before about Palantir that healthcare entities in New York are, getting out of the business of working with them, but the UK is increasing their use of Palantir.
The UK is increasing surveillance, period. Today, actually, Apple have to push a software iOS update that now requires you to verify your age before you can even shop at the App Store, or else they age limit you to children's content because you have to prove you're 18 and up in order to use it. Well, UK has become a dystopian surveillance state where
I know where this is going on a little, but maybe I'm just saying this as an Irish kid, but are we really surprised the British Empire is evil? Is this shocking?
Yeah, but there's a different kind. This is now
they can't go after people outside their country, so now they have to inward. Who saw that coming?
This is the kind of 1984 time.
250 years of freedom from tyranny. Okay. Well, we could talk about this for a long time, maybe a separate show, or it could be a focus. But thank you all for your commentary. It was fascinating. And we have to say there is no other queer non-profit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.